Hello and welcome to the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. Today's Thursday, April 11th, 2024. I've been coughing a bit, so we're going to do it this way, and hopefully we won't get interrupted by any coughs, but if we do, I promise to edit them out. Okay, we're just going to go over a couple of bullet points that were shared in a post on X. Now, I'll link to that in the description to this broadcast. Not going to make this an exhaustive analysis, but let's kind of talk a little bit at least about some of these points. So the first point, access to cheap power is increasingly difficult. Thankfully, for Stronghold Digital Mining, the PJM portions of the grid which we serve, PJM Penelec and PJM PP&L, both those zones in the grid, as of our last investor update, were forecasted to reach a peak price of about $50 or so a megawatt hour in July. So because power prices have been so incredibly cheap, Stronghold has elected to shut down the Scrubgrass Mine Waste-to-Energy facility and to simply import dramatically cheaper electricity from the grid. If and when grid prices were to change and maybe go up in value, go up in price, then Stronghold Digital Mining has industry-leading costs as it relates to electricity because we own and operate our own mine waste-to-energy facilities. So we have a lot more control over our costs. And we have been generally averaging about $40 to $45 a megawatt hour insofar as our net cost of power. That's a very attractive rate. To the extent you can pull in even cheaper electricity from the grid, so be it, and that's what we're doing. Second point here, the hosting model. Pay and plug, plug in third-party data centers. This model is dead, as proved to be most of the time highly inefficient and costly. So we're not really in the traditional hosting business. We don't buy Bitcoin mining machines and either try to find somebody who will host them for us, and we generally don't have let's call it a right-way hosting setup whereby people pay us a flat fee to have access to our data centers. We have what are really win-win hosting plus arrangements with Foundry and Canaan. Canaan, of course, being a leading manufacturer of Bitcoin mining machines. Our hosting model is healthy. It's really lucrative for both parties. And from my perspective, it's a model that's working. Third point, access to debt has become virtually impossible. Well, I don't know that Stronghold Digital Mining is looking for debt. We have plenty of that already. What we sometimes do need is, maybe access to capital in the form of an equity raise. And that brings us to point number 4 here. Access to equity is tough. Only top miners have a chance. Well, hey, I hear you. And that's, I think, a very valid point. The good news is Stronghold Digital Mining closed a private placement in December of 2023. If I recall correctly, raised $15 million. And I suspect we will be able to do that again if and when the need arises. The build-out of owned data centers is relatively slow and costly, particularly for the energy equipment, transformers, etc., available sites with cheap energy nearby. This is getting rarer by the day, and more so now after the AI boom. I'm paraphrasing point number 4. It's a little bit of a typo here. It looks like that's actually point number 5. So we actually have 25 megawatts of end-to-end data center infrastructure and storage, transformers, everything that would really be needed to roll out a third data center site. which would comprise 25 megawatts. I don't see us necessarily having a very strong need to do that at the time, but to the extent we decide to do it, we've got some inventory in place. So I think that's pretty much all we're going to cover. I'm just going to jump here to point 7 real quickly. It says bravest miners are opening up new verticals, AI, HPC, leveraging their access to power and data centers. Well, I mean, Stronghold Digital Mining is opening up a new vertical, one could argue, in the form of carbon capture, which is thankfully not reliant on, technology in the sense of, hey, we need new Bitcoin mining machines every year or so. I mean, this is a completely differentiated offering, and one that I think Stronghold Digital Mining has the potential to really be a leader in. In fact, if we're able to roll our project out, it is plausible we will be the 8th largest direct air capture project in existence in the United States this year. That, to me, is quite noteworthy. Okay, my friend, just a couple of bullet points there. Hope you're doing well. I continue to recover. I think the cough will be the last thing to go, but I am generally feeling pretty good. Okay, we shall perhaps see each other again early next week. Probably not going to see each other tomorrow. Probably won't see each other over the weekend. Never say never, right? You never know. Maybe we'll get together anyway. But let's just assume we'll get together again on Monday, absent, of course, some really massive news that, were to come out tomorrow or over the weekend or something like that. Okay, let's stay positive. Let's be great, and we will see each other soon.